Insert Pokemon Go joke here. What's going on, everybody? My name is Matt, aka Chunky Monkey Games, and the hype train has not yet left the station because I gotta get some stuff out of the way real quick, but then we will return to our regularly scheduled programming. So, in case you don't know, about a month ago I hit 1,000 subscribers, and I'm doing a Q&A, so if you want to ask a question of any kind, go to that video and leave it in the comments, or hit me up on Twitter. I don't really care, because I'm still looking for questions, so if you have questions, just ask away. I don't really care. Just do whatever. So, today we have a little bit of Star Wars news and a little bit of Pokemon news, and that's it. So recently, we got the release of Pokemon Go. I'm pretty sure it's worldwide now, as of recording this video, but I'm not entirely sure. There may be a couple of countries it's not out in yet, but the game is out. The servers are still buggy as AIDS, and it's been really fun so far. And what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about what they could add to Pokemon Go to make it a much better experience, other than, fixing up the servers and connection issues and all that. So, without further ado, let's start with that. So, one thing they could really do that could make Pokemon Go much better is add in trading and battling with friends, and maybe even like a friends list system. I think that'd be awesome because, we all have friends that play Pokemon Go. It's like probably the biggest game of, the year so far, and it's everybody's playing it, so you would want to make friends. And every time I've gone out to play the game, I've literally met people that were also playing the game. Like, everybody's playing it, and if you're able to add friends that you could easily trade with and battle with, and make it a simple system, then that would just be fantastic. That would just make the game so much like a more enjoyable experience. I also think maybe they should add, rare eggs or something that could hatch, more rare Pokemon. I know they kind of have the egg rarity system, but I think it'd be cooler if, there were specific eggs that are, a definite Pokemon. Like, you could get, an Elekid egg, for example, and an Elekid would pop out, because, it has, a good little design, or maybe, a Togepi or something. I know they're not Gen 1, but, when they come out with other gens, then they could easily do, specific eggs. It's like, oh, look, I got an Elekid egg, now I gotta walk to hatch this Elekid. It's better. I feel like it's a better, it motivates people better if they know what they're gonna get out of the egg rather than just getting a surprise. Because I remember I walked for I had a 5-kilometer egg. We were walking for hours, and it finally hatched. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's hatching, and I'm like, oh, it's a Pidgey. End my life. They should also add a system for if you transfer over a Pokemon, you get an additional candy for that Pokemon. So say you trade in a Pidgey, or you transfer a Pidgey, and you'll get an extra Pidgey candy. But if you trade in a Pidgeotto or a Pidgeot, you'll still get one. So maybe they should do a system where if you trade in, why do I keep saying trade in? But if you transfer another a higher stage evolution, you'd get more candy for the first evolution. So if you trade in a Pidgeotto, you'd get 3 candies or something, or if a Pidgeot, you could get 5 or 6 or something. I don't know. I feel like that balanced the game a little bit more, because Pidgey and Rattatas and Weedles are just everywhere. So I feel like that balanced the game out a little bit more and make it more worthwhile to evolve Pokemon. Because come on, who wants 80 Pidgeots? Nobody wants that. People want more variety, so I don't know, maybe they do that. That's enough of me nitpicking about Pokemon Go, though. But now we gotta get into our other bit of Pokemon news, which comes from Pokken Tournament. So if you remember, Pokken Tournament is the Pokemon fighting game in which, Pokemon fight each other. That was redundant. But in Pokken Tournament, they're adding new DLC characters, and the first one we've seen so far is Darkrai, which is dope. I almost said Mewtwo, but it's dope, dude. They're adding Darkrai to Pokken. I was surprised at first, that they added Gengar. I was like, oh, it's Gengar, whatever. It kind of made sense because it's Gengar. It's a fan favorite. But then they added Chandelure. It was like, okay, now anybody can really be in this game. And now they're doing Darkrai, who just is basically the opposite of a fighting type. And it's awesome because, the game is not restricted to just fighting types or just bipedal Pokemon. Anybody can really fight in the game, That'd be cool. So maybe we could see Pokemon I don't know. I really want to see Raichu in the game because he's kind of a fighting. He should be a fighting type even though he's not. He's got access to moves like Brick Break and Iron Tail and everything. I know Pikachu does too, but Pikachu's in the game and we already have Pikachu Libre. Why do we not have Hawlucha in the game? That is a very good question. I don't know why Hawlucha's not in Pokken. He would be perfect for the game, but no, we're not adding in him. But yeah, Darkrai confirmed for Pokken. That's pretty dope. Now moving on to our Star Wars news. As of a couple days ago was Star Wars Celebration, which normally they announce things about the upcoming Star Wars movies like Rogue One, and we got a trailer and a few clips from Star Wars Rebels Season 3, which I watched the first 2 seasons right after watching the Clone Wars series, and I gotta say it's not bad, but it's not as good as the Clone Wars, probably because it's on Disney and they're trying to be more family friendly and everything. But the biggest thing from the Star Wars Rebels Season 3 trailer was probably the reveal of Grand Admiral Thrawn, which, if you don't know, I don't even know who he was, to be honest, but until I looked it up. But he was like the biggest villain in the EU back before it got retconned. So the fact that they're bringing characters from Star Wars Legends, also known as the expanded universe, into canon, that is just dope. That means anything could pretty much become canon again. Like we could get Malgus or Kreia or any other cool Sith Lords and stuff. We could get I don't even know what else, because I'm not even that familiar with the EU, but it's so dope that they're adding in characters that were no longer considered canon and bringing them into canon. It's actually dope. As far as the trailer goes, it looks like Rebels Season 3 is going to take a lot more of a darker approach than the previous 2 seasons. Because if you look at like seasons 1 and 2, there were a lot of like one-off episodes that were supposed to be comedic. Like there was a whole episode about Chopper trying to get his own leg. Like it was kind of pointless. There's just a bunch of one-off episodes that had nothing to do with anything. But now I feel like season 3 is going to be a lot more like story-centric. They're going to focus on like multiple part episodes like they did in Clone Wars, where like every episode was like a 3-parter. So I really hope they do that, because it looks really interesting to see how like the Mandalorians and everything are gonna, and Darth Maul and Sabine and everything, all the Mandalorian stuff, like Son of Dathomir stuff. If you've read that comic, then you know that it's like Darth Maul and the Mandalorians had a deal, and now they're not working for him anymore. They're working for the Empire, and Sabine's a Mandalorian, and it's kind of weird. So I would like to see a multiple part episode about that. I'd also like to see how Kanan deals with like his loss of his sight, which is actually a really interesting point to bring up, because Kanan is he's like the master figure between him and Ezra. So if he lost his sight, that kind of draws parallels to like Ram Koda from The Force Unleashed, which is cool because he was blind and he was like Starkiller's master and everything, and that would be really cool. And I feel like they're going to somehow tie it into Rogue One, because in Rogue One there's a character who's blind but is able to see through the Force. So maybe that's a technique Kanan will pick up, because that would be really cool. So and I really like how they're implementing like a time skip almost, because all the characters look a lot older. Like Ezra looks like he shaved his head and everything, but he actually looks older. And so does Kanan. Kanan's grown the beard and everything. His hair's grown out a little bit more. So I feel like there's definitely like a 1 or 2 year gap between seasons 2 and 3, and that seems really cool. I also really want to know what was the fate of Ahsoka at the end of season 2, because she was like one of the biggest characters in the Clone Wars, and bringing her back into Rebels probably meant a lot more to Dave Filoni, the creator of Rebels and the Clone Wars, which I feel like they're gonna do. I feel like the end of season 2 wasn't the end of Ahsoka. Like she would need a better send-off than that if she was actually going to die. So I feel like she's not dead, but if she is, then maybe she'd come back as a Force ghost, because they did say it's not the last we're seeing of her. But I don't know. I really think that Ahsoka needed a better send-off than season 2, so I definitely think she's coming back in season 3. One thing I really liked about the season 3 trailer was in the split, there was like a split second of a bunch of battle droids from the Clone Wars shooting at stuff, and then right after that they showed Captain Rex, and he was talking about the Grand Army of the Republic and everything. So I wonder if Thrawn is going to use like battle droids or something to fight against the rebels. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Like they use old battle droids that have been decommissioned and use them for the Empire. That'd be pretty cool. Or maybe it's what I'm kind of hoping for is a flashback episode for Rex. Maybe he talks about his first battle or whatever in the Clone Wars. and how he became a captain. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see, but it'd also be like, I feel like that'd be more comic book material to see like Rex's origin story. But I don't know. I know Captain Rex is like probably one of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars, even though he barely got much screen time. But you know, most of his screen time was shooting stuff, and I like how they're bringing him. I like how they brought him back last season for Rebels, and I really hope they expand his character a little bit more in season 3. So, Captain Rex, he's got dual pistols and he's cool. That is my statement for today. That's all the time we have for this episode, though. If you're, tell me what you think of all the Star Wars Rebels Season 3 stuff, and also the what you think they could add to Pokemon Go, and what you think of Darkrai being in Pokken. So, that's about it for this episode. And remember, the hype train can't stop, because there are no brakes. See you next time.